Hey, 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 scrappy people. Happy Sunday and happy Autumn Glow YouTube Hop Sunday specifically. Today we are having a YouTube hop with the TRD team and myself using the brand new Autumn Glow collection. This is my second layout using the Autumn Glow collection. I used it for a layout for our Instagram hop yesterday, which I will link in the description box below if you want to see more examples of this beautiful collection at work. Of course, the YouTube hop and all of the hoppers are also linked below if you want to jump through and watch all of their beautiful videos. But today I'm going to be creating a layout of myself from 2019. Sadly, that was almost 6 years ago now. Somebody help. I cannot believe that. Anyway, these are some photos I have of a cute outfit when I was doing my daily outfits just for the fun of it back then, and I thought it matched the Autumn Glow collection really well. I'm going to be using this template by the Nifty Pixel over at Sweet Shop Designs. It is available right now on sale as well. I'm going to modify it a little bit to make it work for a hybrid layout and not just a digital layout, and I'm going to add to it. So I have already printed out my background because I have added a couple of layers of papers here, and then some mixed media and confetti from the collection that I wanted to have on this layout before I started. And I have everything printed and cut over here as well. And I'm just going to get to assembling. I'll talk you through anything real interesting as we move along, but let's get started. All right, well, I don't know why I said Autumn Glow 3 times, but here we are. We're using the Amber Glow collection, not the Autumn Glow collection. And sometimes my brain, it just is what it is. I'm old now and my brain just is only functioning at half volume. But I have printed out these photos with the frames attached because A, it's easier to just print the frames, and because they're white it's not a big deal, but B, I wanted that digital drop shadow between the frame and the photo that you can see at the top edge of the photo on all of those. So I just printed those out with the frames attached. Now these little hangers, I actually added a stroke to in Photoshop before I printed them so that they would print and cut a little bit easier. Now all of these hangers, all of the photos are going to kind of sit at an angle, but the hangers need to be straight up and down. So I'm just kind of trying to make sure that I am aligning all of the hangers on each of these bits and pieces so that when everything lays down, the tags and the photos are at an angle, but the hangers will go straight up. I'm using liquid glue to do that, A, because it's such a small space, but B, because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room to adjust things before it dries. So some of these photos also have word bits attached to them, and I'm making sure to put those down before I put them on the hangers. And I realized after I printed everything out that I didn't print out the fifth hanger. Somehow it got left out, so that's okay. I decided to keep it off of the very top photo, which will kind of get tucked underneath some of the leaves on this page, so I don't think it'll be super noticeable that it's not hanging like the rest of them. I decided that that would be a better solution than trying to print and cut another one on its own and wasting all that paper. So now I'm just adjusting these photos, making sure everything is angled correctly as I put them down. And of course, I'm trying to follow the original template a bit, but when you reassemble things on paper, you're not going to get that perfection of the digital. So I'm just kind of using it as a guide and making sure that everything actually looks good on my paper page rather than trying desperately to make it match the template perfectly. Okay, so all of the hangers are now up and down, straight up and down. I'm going to put down my last photo, which overlaps this hanger. And I'm realizing that there's no way that I'm going to be able to pull that off of that yellow paper, so I just trimmed it instead because there was a little bit too much overhang. All right, perfect. Now I need to put this one down. And you can see I I often get comments about this. I actually work from basically the top down when visualizing my layout. So like I'm creating clusters of photos and not adhering them to the paper until the clusters are completed. I find that easier to make sure that everything looks right for me, but I realize that it's a bit backwards for a lot of people. A lot of people work from the bottom up, but not me. I work from the top down, which often means that I'm pulling things up off of my page a little bit to stick things underneath. So I try not to add too much adhesive to things that I know that I'm going to have to pull back a little bit. All right, so I have a bunch of little embellishments, and I realized I was missing a green mushroom, so I'm going to pull one out of my stickers. There it is. I have 2 sets of stickers printed. You can tell, one on the front, one on the back of that packaging. I often get questions about my packaging as well. A lot of people think that they can buy the printables pre-cut because I package them for myself, but really it just makes me feel like a real girl. I have packaging that I print for myself, and maybe someday if I ever get to actually sell printed stuff, which I wanted to do this year, but the way that things are going right now is not a good time to start that endeavor, so we will wait and see. But now is about the time that I get to start making that beautiful leaf and pumpkin cluster up at the top. So I'm going to make sure all of these leaves sort of have a little texture. They are going to overlap so much that they're not going to get a lot of height off of the page, but where they are not overlapping other things or other things aren't on top of them, I'm going to try and pull the leaves up against or up away from the page just to get some texture and depth. And I'm doing that with these paper strips as well, these banners. And now I'm building from the bottom up because I know that there's going to be so many layers here. I don't want to have to pull too many things up, because with this Epson premium presentation paper, once the adhesive is down, it is down and it will definitely rip. So now I'm working from the bottom up so that everything is in order. Now this is super fun. I printed these on printable fabric, and one of them did not cut out for my silhouette because my silhouette cut out mid-cut. So this one was hand cut, so I'm just trimming it up a little bit. But the other one did cut out on my silhouette. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description box below for this printable fabric. It's super fun. But these branches were corduroy, so I wanted them to look like fabric, so I ordered some of this printable fabric, and it was so fun. But they are super floppy because they are fabric. Now I started putting this down and I got confused for a minute. I think that I was doing them backwards, and when I start putting other things down, I realize that this is not quite right, so I'm going to pull up that branch in just a minute. Now these leaves are from the digital kit. They are the more realistic leaves in the collection. There are corduroy patterned leaves, and then there are these more realistic leaves. I always like to include realistic fall leaves in my fall collections. I think it's fun to have some of that photorealistic texture, and so I used all of the realistic leaves on this page. On my last page I did use some of the corduroy leaves too, and I will leave a link to the Instagram post with my previous page in the description box below too. There you see I pulled off those corduroy flowers so that I can figure out what I was doing wrong, and I think I was definitely just putting them in the wrong direction. I got confused about how the branches were supposed to hang. But that's okay, because I have a lot of these leaves to sort of scatter around this cluster, and it looks like a hot mess right now, like it's just not even a great cluster, but that's because the pumpkins are going to go over that middle portion, so it doesn't really matter what the middle looks like. We're just making sure that all of the leaves are sticking out from the cluster in a nice pleasing way. This is me realizing that my photo clusters are a little bit too high, but we'll survive. I'm gonna fix those glasses here in a second because they are definitely getting too covered up. Got one more leaf here, trying to figure out where it goes. There we go. So on the original kit, or on the original template, we have these like digitally folded pumpkins that have 2 different layers. You can see those on the right hand side over here, but that doesn't really translate into the paper product so well, because the way that they are layered on the page, they definitely like cover each other up and stack, and it's really hard to get them folded and sticking up off the page in a real paper page the way that it looks on a digital page. So I'm going to recreate that as soon as I get the rest of this down, but it's going to look a little bit different, and that's okay. I'm also going to add a really fun touch here at the end that I really loved and I was really excited about, so you'll see that too. All right, now I've got the branches right, and we can start putting the rest of this down, making sure everything is glued right. Now that they're where they're supposed to be, I can glue down each and every single leaf. Let's add the titles and the word strips coming out of the side. Make it a season to remember. And then we're gonna have fall on one side of the cluster. I love these cardboard words. They're the alphabets from the digital kit that I printed as one piece, except for fall still came apart because they weren't quite connected well enough, but I printed them as one piece by overlapping the letters. And then style is gonna go on the right hand side. And now I can start building my pumpkins. So this was a little bit tedious trying to get these little tiny stems on these pumpkins. It was kind of annoying. So they come off several times. I should have just printed them all as one piece, but I did not. And I decided that I wanted to alternate light and dark pumpkin pieces on the front. So I'm going to figure that out here in a second. And I'm going to fold these up, even though they're not really going to really stay folded up. They do a little bit, but not on both sides. But I'm just going to go ahead and fold them up and then glue them in the center so that they start with the height and I can work my way around it. Okay. Put that back. And I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit. And here's where I get my big idea. I got this holographic paint. It's clear except for the holographic glitter. And I was going to start painting, but then I realized I should probably put everything down and then paint, because otherwise I would have to wait for it to dry and that wouldn't be any good. So I'm going to go ahead and put the pumpkins down and then I'm going to paint. And the way that that paint turns out, it was so good. I got it at Target just on a whim while I was walking through the craft aisles waiting for a prescription, and I love it, love it, love it. I highly recommend holographic glitter for your printables because it's clear, and so it's not going to mess up your color at all, but it's going to add some glitter, and it's going to be a lot easier to paint it on than it is to like add glue and holographic glitter. So I'm using pop dots to keep the edges that are popped up off of the page, and I will go ahead and peel these off camera. And then I'm going to go ahead and use them on the butterflies too to get them to pop up. I absolutely hate these pop dots. I think I've had them, I think they're from scrapbook.com, and I've had them for probably 5 or 6 years because I hate them so much I never use them. They're so hard to peel, but we're almost to the end of them. So now you can see I am painting the glitter. Oh, you can see my head more than anything, but you can see I'm painting the glitter onto the cardboard, and the way that this dries is just so beautiful. You'll see it in the still images. I'm also going to paint it on the pumpkins as well. And then I'm going to add a few like splotches in the mixed media area of the layout as well. But that is it for this video. There are links to everybody else on the hop in the description box below. I encourage you to check out all of the other beautiful videos. There is a link to the Amber Glow collection in the description box as well. It is 25% off through Wednesday, and I will see you next time. Thank you.